You have been stuck on the same choice for too long. You keep thinking about it, but you cannot decide. And the thinking is making you tired. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. Movement was always allowed. Movement has always been allowed for you. Movement has always been allowed for you in every direction. You did not need a permission slip from the future. You did not need to know the destination first. You did not need certainty before you began. The moving was the part that was always yours. The moving has been allowed the whole time, and the moving is allowed tonight. The wrongness frame was the trap. The wrongness frame was the trap, not the safety net it pretended to be. The wrongness frame was the trap, dressed up as carefulness. The frame told you each fork had a correct answer you could fail. The frame is the wound, not the truth about forks. The frame was installed before you had words for it. The frame has been borrowed from someone who did not yet love themselves. You did not invent this frame, and you are allowed to set it down. Paths become right by being taken. Paths become right by being taken, not by being correctly identified first. Paths become right by being taken, always. The destination is made by walking. The road is revealed under the feet, not from above. The map you have been waiting for was never going to arrive before the walking. The map is the walking. The walking writes the map. And the walking is allowed to start tonight. There is no pre-existing right answer to discover. There is no pre-existing right answer to discover anywhere. There is no pre-existing right answer to discover, no matter how long you have been looking. The looking has been honest, and the looking has been pointing at a thing that was not there. The correctness you have been searching for is not hiding from you. The correctness was never there. Forks do not come pre-graded. Forks come empty, and the choosing fills them. You are allowed to stop looking for the answer the fork does not have. The figuring out has been a sophisticated way of staying put. The figuring out has been a sophisticated way of staying put, not progress. The figuring out has been a sophisticated way of staying put, dressed up as diligence. The pros and cons list has been a comfort blanket. The pros and cons list has been a way to stay near the fork without crossing it. The research has been the same activity as not deciding, in a more respectable outfit. The thinking has felt like progress. The thinking has been the place you were staying. And the thinking is allowed to rest now. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. The choosing was never a final exam. The choosing was never a final exam, ever. The choosing was never a final exam, no matter how it has felt. There was no greater. There was no failure mode, the wound said there was. There was no version of you who could have picked wrong and ruined it. The exam frame was the wound's translation of the moment. The actual moment was a fork that was waiting for your willingness to move. And the willingness is allowed to arrive tonight. Course correction is built into being alive. Course correction is built into being alive every day. Course correction is built into being alive at every age. You are allowed to begin in one direction and adjust later. You are allowed to begin in one direction and turn around. You are allowed to begin in one direction and discover in the moving that another direction calls you. The correcting is the path, not a sign you began wrong. The correcting was always part of how living a life works. And the correcting is allowed to happen as it happens. Other people have been choosing under uncertainty too. Other people have been choosing under uncertainty the whole time. Other people have been choosing under uncertainty always. No one in the rooms around you has had a complete map. No one in the rooms around you has had certainty before they moved. The wisest people you know have made decisions in fog. The wisest people you know have adjusted as the fog cleared. Adulthood has always been a series of partial information choices, and you are allowed to choose with the partial information you have. Decisions are revealed by moving. Decisions are revealed by moving, not by thinking. Decisions are revealed by moving every time. The information you need is on the other side of one small move. The information you need is not in any more research. The information is in the doing. The doing tells you whether the door was the right door. The doing tells you whether the path wants to continue. And the doing is allowed to begin in something small. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. Small moves count as moves. Small moves count as moves fully. Small moves count as moves, even when they look like nothing. You can send the email in its imperfect form. You can have the small piece of the difficult conversation. You can apply for the one job. You can book the one viewing. You can make the one phone call you have been almost making. The small move is the move that breaks the freeze. Staying stuck has had costs the pros and cons list could not see. Staying stuck has been costing the months. Staying stuck has been costing the years. Staying stuck has been costing the version of you that gets to know what is on the other side of the move. The unchosen choice has had a price the spreadsheet never tracked. The not deciding has not been free. The not deciding has been the most expensive option. The not deciding only looked safe. And you are allowed to count its true cost now. The fear of choosing wrong is older than this fork. The fear of choosing wrong is older than the relationship. The fear of choosing wrong is older than the career. The fear was learned in a home where wrong was punished or right was the only acceptable option. The fear belongs to a younger version of you. The fear is allowed to thank the younger version and step aside. The room you are choosing in tonight is not the room the fear was learned in. The adults around you are not the adults the fear was calibrated for. And the fear is allowed to soften now. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail. And moving in any direction is allowed. Let the words drop deeper now, not just in your mind, in your body, in your feet that have been waiting for permission to move, in the part of you that has been standing at the fork. You can move in any direction and remain you. You can move in any direction and stay the same person who chose. You can move in any direction and your essential self comes along. The path does not change who you are. The path is something you walk, not something you become. You are not the fork you choose. You are the person who chose. And the person who chose stays whole. The choosing does not subtract from you. The unchosen path does not vanish from you. The unchosen path does not vanish, but it does not haunt you either. The unchosen path is allowed to remain as information. The road not taken is not a wound waiting to be reopened. The road not taken was one option among many. The road you took is the road that became real. And the realness of the road you took is allowed to be enough. You can let the other paths exist quietly. You do not owe them grief. You have made decisions before and you have survived them. You have made decisions before and you are still here. You have made decisions before and the body that made them is wiser now. The decisions you have already made are evidence of your decision making. The decisions you have already made were not failures. The decisions you have already made added up to the life you are in. The capacity is in you. The capacity has always been in you. And the capacity is available tonight. Your past decisions are now your wisdom. Your past decisions are now your wisdom, not your regret. Your past decisions are now your wisdom, even the ones you would change. The decisions you would change were teaching you the next layer. The decisions you would not change were the right ones by being taken. Every chapter of your decision-making has been you becoming. You did not waste the choices you made. You made them and they made you. next choice is allowed to add to the wisdom, not take from it. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail. And moving in any direction is allowed. You are allowed to choose without confidence. You are allowed to choose without certainty. You are allowed to choose without proof that this is the right one. Confidence is allowed to come after the choice, not before. Certainty arrives by walking, not by waiting. You do not have to feel sure to be allowed to move. You only have to be willing. The willing is what does the work. And the willing is allowed to be quiet, small, and yours alone. You can change your mind after choosing. You can change your mind after choosing at any point. You can change your mind after choosing without it being a failure. The choice was not a permanent contract. The choice was a direction, not a sentence. You are allowed to walk for a while and then turn. You are allowed to begin and then begin again. The turning is not the wrong move it has been called. The turning is part of how the path becomes yours. Your timing for choosing is yours. Your timing for choosing is yours, not the internal deadline you have been measuring against. Your timing for choosing is yours, not anyone else's. You are not behind for not having chosen yet. You are not behind for taking this long. You are not behind for needing more time than the people whose timelines you have been comparing against. Your fork is allowed to take as long as it takes. And the readiness is allowed to arrive in your time. The timing has always been yours. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. The right answer was never going to feel obvious before you moved. The right answer was never going to arrive as certainty. The right answer was never going to be the absence of doubt. The doubt you have been waiting to dissolve was never the marker that the choice was correct. The doubt was the noise around any meaningful fork. The doubt is allowed to be there, and the choosing is also allowed. You can choose with the doubt present. You can move with the doubt as company. The doubt does not have to leave before the moving begins. The body knows when the move is near. The body knows when the move is near, even if the mind has not caught up. The body knows when the move is near, in a register beneath the spreadsheet. Listen for the small forward leaning in the chest. Listen for the slight loosening in the shoulders. Listen for the soft yes that arrives somewhere not in the mouth. The body's yes is information the mind has been overruling. The body's yes is allowed to count, and the body is allowed to be the one who knows. The choosing is allowed to feel uncomfortable. The choosing is allowed to feel uncomfortable. and to happen anyway. The choosing is allowed to feel uncomfortable and not require the discomfort to go away first. The discomfort is not the signal that the choice is wrong. The discomfort is the cost of crossing the freeze, not a verdict on the direction. You can move while the discomfort is present. You can move and let the discomfort soften on the other side. The crossing is harder than the path, and the crossing is allowed to be hard. You can let the move be tonight. You can let the move be tonight, even one small one. You can let the move be tonight, even if it is only a decision to look up one phone number. You can write the first sentence of the message. You can put one date on the calendar. You can speak one sentence out loud to one person. You can take one tiny step in any direction, and the step counts as having moved. The step breaks the freeze. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. You cannot make a wrong move. Every path you take becomes the right path. Your journey is your own to unfold. The choosing was never a test you could fail, and moving in any direction is allowed. Feel what was just spoken becoming part of you, not just heard, absorbed. Your body has taken it in. It is already working. Now you rest in the feeling. You do not need to make it happen in this moment. You only need to let it in. Without identifying the correct path first, without waiting to be certain, without one more round of pros and cons. Breathe, receive, become. And as you move through your day, stay open. Notice the small signs. Notice the shifts. Notice what begins to feel different, because something is already changing. And being free to choose your next move is becoming more available to you.